One day I was in class and I sat down next to this guy and I'd never really spoken to him. I was like, hey man, how you doing? I was like trying to be a little bit friendly, start some convo. And at the end of the class, his friend came up to me and told me that he never really wanted me to sit them with them again. That it was a bit weird that I was like, well, like I wasn't part of the friend group. But 2 years later, I was out at the beach with one of my really close friends. The same guy who didn't want me to sit with him. And I was speaking to him, we were having a good laugh, and I was showing him some photos of like the parties and whatnot, that things that I've been doing recently, telling him some stories. And we were walking to the 7-Eleven to grab some food, and on the way walking there was this group of girls like sitting on our right. Like I remember it so clearly because this was the moment that everything changed. The way that this guy viewed me was never the same. We were walking and they were like, hey Finn, and you know, like I didn't really say that much, honestly. I just said like, oh hey guys, how you going, or something. Maybe I didn't even say how you going, maybe I just said hey and like try to play it cool or something. But afterwards my friend was like, I see you. And it was at that moment that my friend never treated me the same ever again. I'm gonna be uploading tons of value that I don't share on my YouTube channel, on my Instagram, so click the link in the description, go follow me there, and you can feel free to message me if you want, if you have any questions. Let me tell you a story, right? I was out with my boys. I'd been planning this day for weeks. 2 weeks before that, I was saying to my friend, I was like, yo, let's get all the boys together, let's have a crazy night, it'll be so fun. And 2 weeks later, there we were, it was about 10 of us, we were all eating food, we grabbed lunch, having a good time. Afterwards, we went to this area, we sat in this it's really hard to explain. It's basically just a circular bench. We had some music, somebody had a speaker, we were all just chilling, having like a good laugh. I remember asking my friend, I was like, yo, can you hold this for me real quick? He held my water, I put my noodles on the ground, I went to tie my shoelace, but I can't remember exactly what I did, but I bumped something like an absolute fucking idiot. I bumped my noodles and I spilled them all over his brand new Air Forces. You know what he did? He was like, no. That's all he said. He just said no. I was like, yo, I'm so sorry, bro. I didn't mean to do that. I got some water and a tissue. I'm pretty sure. I can't even remember if this is true. But I got some water and a tissue and wiped it down. I was like, yo, I'm so sorry, bro. And like 10 seconds later, he was like, yeah, it's all right, man. It's fine now. Like, I'll wipe it off. I'll clean them. The way that I was getting treated that night by everybody, he was just like, people around me, I was like, yo, can take a photo. Just like these really small little favors. I could tell that everybody really respected me because nobody's gonna like just do all those like hold somebody's water bottle, like go up the elevator, grab something for them. Like nobody's gonna do these kind of favors for somebody they don't respect. And I felt it in the way people were treating me, how nice everyone was to me. I realized why when I was talking to my friend. This was about a couple days later, or yeah, about a week later. I was hanging out with this one guy. We were speaking, and it turned out that he had been out one night, he was telling me, and he was talking to this group of 2 or 3 guys, 2 or 3 girls. That's what he said. And he mentioned my name, and he said that they said that they really liked you. And when I heard that, it was like really amazing news. Like, you're never gonna be sad to hear that. That made me feel really happy. And he said to me, like, you kind of like, you just got like a good rap here, like a lot of people really like you. And that's at that moment when he said that, I realized like, oh no shit, I'm getting treated so well here. No wonder. It's because people like me. And so when other people who aren't in like my circle of friends see that I have this circle of friends, they're like, oh wow, he must be a good person. And they're just like naturally respecting me more. Then it's so much easier for me to meet new friends. And that's one of the things that's served me really well, is going out a lot in a place where people respect me. Going out where all my friends are. When I go out with all of them, it's really easy to make new friends because all these other people see me in such a good light. And they're like, oh wow, I really want to be like mates with this guy. I don't know, I made that up. But it just like feels like it's really easy to make friends there compared to most other places I go. This one night I was out, and it was at this kind of party at the beach, like a bunch of people had gone. I call it a party, but it was just a shit ton of people on the beach, like hundreds. And this one guy was in this like circle of 20, 30 guys, and he was in the middle getting sturdy, doing some dance moves and whatnot, and everybody just like really respected him. And I noticed that as soon as he'd finished dancing, whenever he was around in the conversation, like everybody would kind of swarm around him, would be talking to him. He was like that guy. He was genuinely that guy. He was him. And I noticed that it was because he was doing this one thing. He had just been in a moment where people see him in a good light. People had seen him dancing and everybody cheering him on, hyping him up. And if you can leverage that point where you just go somewhere where people see you in a good light, I guarantee you're gonna make good friends. Because I did too. And here's some photos with me and my friends. Like, I've genuinely made some amazing people that I love spending time with. And I want as many other people to be able to do that as possible. And here's how. First thing I would do is, let's say you're really good at MMA or you're really popular in this one town. That's the situation I'm in. I'm just like really popular in one town, or I just have really good friends there. And so I go out there a lot. I go out to places where tons of people my age go out in my hometown. And that works amazing for me. But if you're really good at tennis, you should go to a tennis club and meet people through there, because they'll always respect you for being that guy who's really good at tennis. People just respect you when you're good at something. And if you can show them that you're good at something, that's W. Or just set up like a really nice Instagram and people will respect you through that as well. Genuinely, that makes a difference when people see my Instagram story. Some people think I just stay to myself, I'm a bit of a loser in like one specific environment in the world. Then they see my Instagram story of me out with my friends, they're like, oh yeah. And people have literally told me like they've respected me more after that. So that's another way to do it. It's not like I just suddenly clicked my fingers and I was good friends with everybody, because I struggled with it. And you knew I struggled with it. Remember that story I told you? When I was tried to sit down next to this guy and his friends. This guy didn't even like me. I never told you how I got from there to being at a point where this guy is like literally my best friend. Like, he's literally my brother right now. I miss him a lot and everything. Here's what I did. Let me tell you a story, right? One time, I hadn't seen my friend 2-3 months, and I met up with him, planned to go to the gym with him. And so we were walking up the street. He was down there like 20 meters away. I was here. And I was like looking at him, like smiling. But he just didn't have any facial expressions, and he just came up, he was like, yo, what's up, bro? It just felt a bit shattering that this guy that I thought was like a good friend, like it wasn't a big deal, but at that moment, like it just felt a bit sad. Like, what, is this guy not excited to see me? And it just didn't feel like he was a warm person, like didn't feel like he really wanted to be there. A different friend who I hadn't seen in a long time. I see him out smiling, and I just see like the smallest thing, him smiling, and I'm like, yo, good to see you, man. He's like, yeah, you too, bro. And it was the smallest thing. It was me just getting that smile back. I just felt so much more warm. The guy who didn't smile at me, we just had a shit hang out. I can't lie. He literally messaged me afterwards. He was like, yo, like, are you alright? You seemed a bit off or something. And the second guy, like, I literally messaged him saying like, oh yeah, had an amazing time. It was really fun to catch up with you. And that, I reckon that was like the biggest difference. We just got off on like the wrong foot. I didn't really feel like I wanted to be there. There was tons of other reasons, of course, but it's just an example. Like, the smile can make all the difference. A couple nights ago, I was hanging out with my friend. I noticed that she was doing this one thing. And so for some like background, I was with her, and this whole time we were just dying of laughter. Like, literally my mum said to me yesterday that we were like laughing the whole time, because basically she's a family friend and our parents are friends and they talk a lot. My mom had told me like, oh yeah, I heard you were laughing a lot. And I realized at that moment, like, yeah, we were laughing a fuck ton. And for a bit longer, I was thinking like, what? How is she so fucking funny? Like, I don't laugh this much when I'm with most other people, or with a lot of people. Some people I do, of course. And I realized she was doing this one thing. She just kept making fun of me. Like, throughout the night, we were just hanging out. She was obviously like quite relaxed to talk and be free and like have a good laugh with me. Yeah, we already got along. But this one specific time that we were hanging out, we were laughing non-stop. She was just making fun of me so much. And it was, in a way, the only way to do this is to just like remember the first thing I said, smile, and not say anything too personal. And when I say too personal, is like, if you think somebody would be hurt or like insecure about something, don't bring it up as a topic. Like, she was making fun of me for stuff that was like insignificant. You just avoid things that might hurt somebody too much. But she was like executing this perfectly. And I found that when you make this many joke attempts, like literally one per minute, and you get to a point where you have like a couple of successful jokes or a couple of things that are really funny when you make fun of someone for, and you just keep reusing them, that's when you can have like a really good time with someone. It makes them like, you know what an inside joke is? Well, they're created when you make fun of someone and they find it funny. You guys both find it really funny. So you just keep using it over and over until it becomes even more funny. And I reckon when you do that with a person when you're hanging out, it's the best way to build like a better connection. I genuinely had a great time with her. I was at the beach with my two friends this one time. Like, from the second we got there, I noticed that they were making fun of like where they're from, and they were making jokes about that. They were making jokes about how they hadn't been going to the gym. They were just making fun of everything. They were taking the piss out of everything. They weren't saying like, oh, you're a fat fuck. Like, they weren't being idiots or like being cunts. They were just trying to make as many jokes as they could. And genuinely, I loved that time with them so much. Amazing day. And it was just because these guys, they just always make jokes. Like, just always laughing. And I love being around people like that. And if you can take anything away from this, is just to make fun of everything. This one time I was at school, and basically we have this like dining hall, and I went in, I got in the queue, and I got some food, and my friend and I, we sat down next to each other. He said to me, yo, how'd you do that? Like, what the fuck? Bro, charisma right here. And he was like making a joke about how I was charismatic, but I had no fucking clue what he was on about. I was like, what are you talking about? And I realized like, oh shit, I've just been talking to all these lunch ladies and like having a good laugh with them. And nobody does, like nobody speaks to them. But, you know, I always try and make like some effort to say like, oh, how's your day? Of course not, I'm not 100% all the time, but a lot of the time I do try and make this effort. And he noticed it. And he thought that that was like such a high level, charismatic, friendly kind of thing. When I was sitting down, I was like, oh, so you're saying that if I just speak to everybody and show everybody that I'm like genuinely a nice guy who's interested in everyone, that people are gonna think I'm charismatic and people are gonna think I'm a legend like that? I was like, oh shit, it's pretty simple, hey. That's literally all you need to do, is speak to a lot of people, make a lot of jokes, and smile a fuck ton. And you might be wondering like, oh shit, it's just so hard to talk to people. If that's the situation you're in, I'm gonna give you this plan. My friend, he used to struggle with being social so much. But a few months later, it was like half a year later, I'd been sitting down with him and we were literally having like a good conversation at dinner. I'd gone out, hung out with him and managed like hold a conversation with him for a couple hours and whatnot. And I noticed that when I was out with him, something had changed. And I asked him, and he told me that he had this like massive goal that he'd been working on. He was trying to be more social. He had this whole plan. And the quick plan, I don't want to waffle on. Basically, he wrote down he wanted to be more social. Week one, so since he was going for a run, so he was going to a place where there was people he could, you know, say hi to. He was going for a run every day, and on this trail he would see people. So week one, he was about to write, I'm gonna try and say hi to every person I run past. But he said, nah, that's too hard. So he wrote, I'm gonna smile and look everybody in the eye who I run past. Week two, he's gonna run and say hi to everybody. Week three, he's gonna say, hey, how are you, to every single person he runs past. And he had tried for so long to just say like hi to people he was running past, be more friendly, but he would never ever do it, never. And he said it was only when I just made the challenge easier, I wrote down that I wanted to be more social, and I made it so that week one, all I had to do was smile and look people in the eyes as I ran past, because he got so comfortable and got in the habit of like having some kind of interaction with other people consistently. Like before he was at zero, he was at like not being social, not talking to anyone. Then he was just smiling and looking people in the eyes. But that was the step he needed to take so that he could jump up to the next level and say hi to every single person he was running past. And by the end of this, he could talk to me and hold great conversations with me. All because he didn't have ego, and he just made it so that it was easy enough for him to make some progress. Because for so long he made no progress, until he made a little stepping stone for him to make progress onto. And the last thing, bro, you got to take care of yourself. This one night, when I got out to hang out with my friends, we're all laughing, we're all super hyped. I just felt amazing. And it was quite simple what I did. The night before, about 10 p.m, I got into bed, or I got in the shower, I got out of the shower, and I turned my phone off, powered it off, and I got this book out. It was just something I was interested in. It doesn't really matter what book you read, even if it's like a comic book or whatever. And I got it out, I was having a good read of it, and I fell asleep. I woke up the next day, I'd slept like a shit ton. I just didn't set any alarms. Because I was on holidays, got myself into bed early enough, read, and when I got really tired, it was just lights out. And I woke up the next day at about 9, and I felt on top of the world. I felt like so well rested, super happy. I went to the gym, I got in the sauna, and I'd also filmed a video, which is a massive thing for me, but it might not help as many other people. But the most important thing is I actually went to the gym, I got in the sauna, and afterwards I felt good. I like sweated out, been ready for the day. I was hanging out with my dad a bit. We went over to our friend's house for a bit, And that night we went out and I had the blast of a time. Like I was just in a really sociable, like happy mood. I realized like it's just because of that night of sleep and that one gym workout that I was able to be here in such a good mood. And I don't know if this story was as impactful as it needed to be. But if you work so well on yourself, on your inside, it's going to be inevitable that you project happiness outside. This one night, my friend and I, we decided to meet up, and when we were hanging out with each other, we went to grab dinner, we were hanging out for like an hour or 2 hours, and we were walking, and we bumped into these group of guys, and I said to him, I was like, bro, I guarantee you, in about like 5 seconds, we're gonna bump into somebody. And I said this because he had literally just mentioned our other friend, like he always bumped into people with him. And so he was like, shut the fuck up, bro. That's not gonna happen. So we had a good laugh about it. I was joking. I didn't think I was gonna bump into anyone. But literally 30 seconds later, I swear on fucking anything, we bumped into this group of like 5 guys. We had like a great chat with them. We had plans to meet up with a bunch of other people, but it wasn't working out. So us two and his group of 5 people and this other group of 10 guys, we all like we were walking, having a great chat. We all walked to this venue where everybody our age was going pretty much. And the next day I got this message from him. Yo, like I had no idea how far above me you were, like how like social you were and whatnot. And bro, I'm happy that I'm a sociable guy, but I'm not arrogant about it. But this guy, he messaged me, and I'm just saying this because I want like some kind of proof to you that I know what I'm talking about. I'm telling you right here that I would not have got that message from him, that I was really sociable. I would not have had a good time. I would not have been able to make jokes in front of this group of 15 guys, make everyone laugh, have a good time, feel confident, if I did not meet my friend before. Because if I did not meet my friend before, I was still at that point where it was like, I hadn't been out in a while, I'd been working really hard on myself, and so it's harder to talk to people, harder to hold good conversation than usual. And just because I met up with this guy, had a great chat with a close friend that I loved, and that we were laughing a lot, making a lot of jokes, I'd warm myself up socially so that when I was like out with this bigger group, it was way easier to talk to them and we had an amazing time. I hope this helps you, bro. If you're really good at martial arts, go sign up for a martial arts gym. If you're really good at tennis, go sign up for that. If you're really popular in one friend group, invite all your boys out to go somewhere where there's other people you could meet. And help make sure that you're getting presented to other people in a really good light. Because that is an easy way to make friends. When people respect you, friendships are built upon respect, and so when people respect you, it's really easy to meet a lot of really good people. Have a great day, brother. And feel free to message me, follow my Instagram, like literally ask me any questions. I'd be happy to help with this problem, like if you're struggling with any of this. Have a great day.